Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates and another Ahsoka discussion stream. I hope you guys can hear me, because I could not hear that transition for some reason, so I don't know. That might mean that I can't hear alerts either, but as long as you guys can hear me, that's the most important part. But yeah, it's gonna be a fairly short stream today, about an hour, as I have to get to bed really early and get up early tomorrow. But yeah, today was an incredible episode. I think majority of Star Wars fans agree on that. Underwater for an hour and still alive. That's all the stuff happening with Star Wars. That's the one thing you think of. I mean, she might as well have been floating at the surface. We don't know. Obegom, how's it going? Good to see you. Patrick, let's hope your meetings wrap up too fairly soon, so you can join us here in the chat. Let's see if I can actually hear that alert. I cannot for some reason. Bertie, thank you very much for the 39 months in the Senate, my friend. Much appreciated. I am curious why I'm not able to hear any sound alerts. I mean, I can still see them, so I guess it's not a big deal, but what is up with the outgoing, incoming streams, alerts? I don't really know. But yeah, that was just fantastic, Obegom. I fully agree. One of the best episodes of Star Wars for a long time. I think it also, the way they got Hayden to act just shows how much better of a writer and director Filoni is than George Lucas. Again, George Lucas created the entire universe, so you can't criticize him too much, but everyone agrees, even the people who worked with him, that he was not a very good writer or not a very good director. That's why some of the better movies he was involved with usually took in another director. So I'm happy that Hayden actually got a bit of redemption now. Yeah. How's it going, Luke? Good to see you. Martin, I don't know if you're blind or something. I don't know how anyone, like, not even the biggest Star Wars haters, I think, have had that much of a negative view. Like, I fully agree. I fully understand not liking the sequels. I fully agree not liking all the series. But saying that stuff like peak Mando, peak Ahsoka, peak Andor isn't even comparable to other stuff. I mean, I'm sorry, but in that case, you're just going in with your mind already made up, and that's kind of end of the discussion. How's it going, David? Yes, very happy. I thought that was a fantastic episode. 10 out of 10. I agree, Bertie. I would, yeah, probably give it a 10 out of 10. I thought it was visually, it was so well done. Like some of the best CGI, best lightsaber choreography, sound effects, and that entire like Ahsoka the White part with her like up on the ship and the Purrgil. I mean, that was great. That was some beautiful stuff for sure. Ten out of 10 episode. Yeah, I don't know which episode I prefer most. This one was more visually compelling and it had freaking Anakin, but episode 4 brought the story a little bit further and had a lot of Baylan, so it's kind of hard to pick a favorite. But I mean, not that we have to pick favorites. Yeah, Luke. I mean, I tried to wait a little bit with spoilers, at least for the big stuff, but my subscription feed is basically filled, Arman recommended, with literal screenshots from the series, like right away. So that's why as soon as I wake up in the morning, I don't even open YouTube. I don't open Twitter. I don't open anything until I've seen the episode. I realize that there's no way to. I mean, if you just literally search for Ahsoka on YouTube, you will have 50 videos with the entire, not the entire episode, but clips of the episode uploaded and screen. You know, Twitter is the same, and those tweets are the ones that gets viral, which means they show up for everyone. So, I mean, I'm at this point like. Yeah, you just don't open any social media until you've seen it. That's unfortunately. I'm doing very well, thank you, Noah. How are you doing? Where are you going tomorrow? I am going to the Swedish Disc Golf Amateur Championship. So I gotta get up very early tomorrow, and I will be away from Thursday to Sunday. So that's why I gotta get to bed very early today. I've been trying to prep as many clips as I can the whole day. I think I've done like 8 or something now. Productive day. So yeah. Normally this would be a clickbait title, but in this case it's actually true. Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is like... Honestly, I mean, obviously, there's always going to be some haters, and I feel like some people it would not matter what Disney released. They could release like a 10 out of 10. Everyone praises Star Wars stuff, and they would still hate on it. It's at the point where like those people you can just ignore. But those people who have been overly critical, like who don't like the sequels, who don't like part of the story stuff, or I mean, series stuff. Still like this episode. I mean, even though some of the people I know are generally speaking very negative, too negative, in my opinion, but that's besides the point. Even those people are happy with this. So like, I feel like Dave Filoni is really onto something. And after season 3 of Mando it was fine, mediocre, I would say. I was afraid that Star Wars was going to go down the Marvel route of kind of just going meh. And then Ahsoka came in and it feels like Ahsoka kind of saved it. I mean, we still have 3 episodes to go, so the Thrawn stuff, I mean, this really sets up to be an amazing series if the Thrawn stuff is handled well, in my opinion. Yes, I know, Tobias. I didn't know that Ariana Greenblatt actually played... I saw those pictures of Ahsoka and Gamora, and I was like, yeah, they're similar. Oh, it's the same actor. 'Cause those of you who didn't know, Ariana Greenblatt, who played young Ahsoka, also played young Gamora in Infinity War. I mean, she's really young there. So, yeah, that makes sense. Infinity War was like, what, 5, 6, 7 years ago now? Yeah, for some reason I thought it was recently, but then I realized that there's quite a few years since it came out, and I think she's only like 16 or something now, so I guess it makes sense. Thank you, David. Thank you, Bertie. And Obi. It's going to be fun. It's the last big tournament, and it's also the last tournament I'll be playing in this division, as in the next... Well, I'll be jumping up to a higher division, which means obviously I will be winning a lot less for a while until I get better. So this is probably the biggest tournament I've played so far, and it's going to be the last chance for me to win something for a while until I get better. But yeah, it's going to be fun. Nice road trip with a couple of friends. Well, yeah, she was in Barbie too. I haven't seen Barbie though, but yeah, I heard that she was in that too. Simon, why do you want to get spoiled? I mean, no, Thrawn is not in this episode, but yeah. I thought, yeah. I almost thought the same thing. The Mandalore flashback. I almost thought that Filoni would be bold enough to put a live-action Maul in there. I mean, we've seen live-action Maul before, but again, I think that would have been like the icing on the cake if we saw a little snippet of Maul in there too. Yeah, Dan, you're very right. If you go to like any Star Wars social media, the majority of people will be positive. I saw some outlets giving it some poor reviews, and obviously based on some comments here on the stream and occasionally on especially on my clips channel, there are people who are negative as always, but generally speaking, it's definitely very positive. Well, Bertie, it's not really like a multiverse, which I'm glad. I think it's way better that they go down the route of having different galaxies that are very inaccessible. So it's not just going to be like a back and forth, back and forth. Well, unless you know Pergil. But yeah, that makes way more sense because they could have different people, different species, but it's not just a parallel universe. Parallel universes in general just become very complicated. And if Star Wars did that, I'd be like, ugh. But separate galaxies, I mean, hell, that's even like in reality. There's separate galaxies here, even though we haven't been able to travel. Well, we haven't even been able to travel outside of our solar system, but you get the point. Like different galaxies exist, so that makes way more sense. I don't know if she was in the water the whole time or in World Between Worlds. I mean, that World Between Worlds is a very confusing concept because, like, I don't think she was just laying there and, like, basically drowning, and then that battle was in her mind. There must be some type of portal. Like, I mean, it's obviously very confusing, but Jason could hear the lightsaber battle through the Force, which means she wasn't just laying there dreaming about battling Anakin or something like that, but it was actually happening in some way within the Force. I mean, it's an incredibly confusing concept, but I don't know if she was then physically like floating around in the water or if she was teleported to World Between Worlds temporarily. You know, I don't think we'll ever know for sure, to be honest. But yeah. Simon, I understand what you mean. I mean, I would recommend getting back into Ahsoka. Kenobi had great moments, but was overall a bit of a letdown. And I mean, honestly, the peaks has for me has been Ahsoka, Mando season 1 and 2, and Andor. Like those 4 seasons, I guess you could say, have been just every episode you're sitting there excited to see the next one. Um, how many galaxies in Star Wars? I mean, there could be thousands, but I mean, they're probably starting off with one. Yeah, I think that was all. I think that was in World Between Worlds. I mean, I think that's why they on purpose even made it visually look like it was in World Between Worlds. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the leaks, some of them were correct, but I think some of the leaks even said that this flashback was gonna have like a battle on Mustafar with like the Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka fighting or something, or Obi-Wan being dead and Ahsoka fighting. I don't know. But I think they probably, honestly, I would guess that they had a lot of ideas and like scenes they filmed for these flashbacks, and then they had to kind of pick out the ones that felt the best. And honestly, all of the ones they picked now from Ryloth and Mandalore were really good. But like the whole fight on Mustafar, as much as I would love to see that, I think there's a lot of ways that could have been weird, especially since yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Did you like the space whales CGI? I think it was brilliant. I mean, yeah, I thought. I mean, honestly, most of the stuff they've transitioned from animated to live action has been spot on. I have zero complaints for. I mean, you could probably like nitpick stuff, but the Pergil, perfect. I don't really have any complaint on it. They're kind of just what I hoped for. Literally had chills this episode. My favorite moment must be the Exegol lightning moment. I don't know if you guys know which one I'm talking about. I can probably show you short clips here without getting like a copyright strike or anything. But the music, that was like the last battle. The music was great. Anakin going down to the dark side route was great. Hearing that Exegol lightning, whatever you think about the sequels, I love the Exegol Sith stuff. that lightning bolt that flashes Vader and Anakin, and then the music, and then the fight. Let me show you. See if I can skip straight to that so I don't get a claim. I'm just gonna skip.
Possibly.
Here we go. I think this is. I think 10 seconds should be fine, especially if I do it the small window. But just listen to the Exegol lightning here. No, this is.
You lack conviction.
Okay, let's not get a claim on the video. Actually, yeah, the entire thing with the Darth Vader and Anakin voices being merged together, the Exegol lightning, the visuals. I mean, I think they just nailed that kind of stuff here. And the lightsaber duel, just the choreography was perfect, to be honest. Just the way they moved, the way they fought, and yeah, I loved it. I haven't read the Legends book, but I did hear that Jason, there is a Jason there too, that does he turn to the dark side? I kind of like Jason. Usually I think like kids in Star Wars or in movies and series in general are just annoying as fuck, but they made Jason kind of like normal and reasonable. So I think Jason could have a bright future in Star Wars. Yeah, Hayden has done a fantastic job. I think this just shows that he can act, and you know, when he's given a good script and a good everything, it's like he does a good job. Yeah, seeing the Anakin with the Clone Wars haircut and the Clone Wars armor, that was indeed crazy, because I was like, they really like those two scenes, like first the Clone Wars with the short hair and then jump to Mandalore longer hair like episode 3. They really stuck. Yeah, they just did it perfectly, to be honest. One second, just gotta fix like that. And more Chopper, I know. I mean, Chopper he's just been like a side character, but he's like, I mean, now in Ahsoka, but he's like the perfect sidekick to Jason, you know? Yeah, I was kind of hoping a little bit that Kenobi would show up too, but I also felt like I honestly thought more about like, oh, what if Maul shows up, if or something like that. But for some reason, I didn't think too much about Obi-Wan, because I felt like the focus was solely on Anakin and Ahsoka's relationship. Even though I obviously would have loved to see Kenobi in there too. I don't know what they do with this middle period between the Empire and First Order, because they've written themselves into a wall with the creation of the First Order. I mean, I'm thinking it feels like that's basically what all this Mandoverse stuff is trying to do, explain the sequels. And I mean, they're showing how incompetent the New Republic is, so it makes the emergence of the First Order make more sense. I've already heard talk about in Mando about Project Resurrection, or no, not Project Necromancer and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. Obviously, they can't undo all the bad stuff in the sequels, but they can make it better and make the galaxy as a whole, or the story, like build it out in a better way. I mean, Simon, I wouldn't say the big bad has been portrayed as Thrawn. That's more been Balan and Shin and Morgan Elspeth. And I mean, it's like Thrawn is a little bit like how Thanos was the first couple of Marvel movies. He didn't even show up or showed up very little. But now I'm assuming we're gonna see Thrawn at least, maybe even the next episode, which means we've got 3 more episodes. I agree, David. That Mando stuff looked great in live action, and the fighting that I mean, you could really see how much better she got as a fighter with when they did that little, I don't know, time jump or whatever you want to call it. Patrick, hope the meetings went well. There's still no scene about how Anakin teaches her fight not only droids from TV spots, so there's potential for more flash. Yeah, you're right. Wait, which spot is that? I mean, I don't know. Sometimes they do film audio stuff just for like promos, but you might be right. Might be you might be onto something there that he might be involved more. I think the new galaxy is going to be used as a way to explain why certain characters were alive during the sequels but didn't join the fight. It could be, but I hope not, because I mean I don't know what characters you're referring to if you're talking about like Grogu or Mando, but to be honest, I mean the galaxy is already so freaking huge as it is that it's not unlikely that a little conflict happening on one planet that everyone's not involved, if that makes sense. TV spot force. Okay, I'm gonna go look at that one. Martin, hello there. Yeah, Balin does speak about some power, like we're serving a higher cause, and it's really confusing if like does he mean just serving Thrawn, or does he know there's a way to unlock some force powers there, or what exactly is his end game? Because it's being quite vague. Kokeo, how's it going? Glad you liked them, Patrick. Thank you. Yeah, I've got plenty of more clips prepped up since I'm going away, so I'm trying to. I'm probably I'm gonna after I've wrapped up the stream, I'm gonna try and squeeze a few more clips out. So I've got a couple scheduled for the next couple of days. But it really, I thought you could really see that she had changed a bit after coming out from World Between Worlds, which I think just it makes sense. They got to that point, and people complained that she was stoic before, which I mean makes sense considering what she's been through. But yeah, have you ever tried generating a Star Wars image for your video through AI? Yeah, actually, multiple thumbnails on my, especially on my second channel, has been generated through AI. It's really hard with anything that has to do with faces, but like generating concept art for like games that aren't out yet or stormtroopers work really well as well, but faces are the problem with AI. Yeah, Dan, I think the heir to the Empire like leak or rumor or whatever you want to call it in regards to Filoni's movie was more of a rumor and maybe even a project name, but they really could be naming that movie anything, to be honest. What program did you use for the image? I used the Midjourney. Rate this episode. I mean, probably a like 10. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I never give anything 10s, but it's like what at one point, like I don't know. I didn't have any complaints really today. I didn't feel like, oh, why did they do that? Or why didn't they do that? So it's like it was just all throughout good, you know. My favorite iteration of Ahsoka is last season of Clone Wars. I'm willing to agree with you on that. I think episode 7, or I mean season 7, Ahsoka is really good. So yeah. Martin, we talked a little bit about that earlier, and I feel like since it seems like she was somehow within World Between Worlds, I don't know if she just physically floated around in the water, but she might actually have transport. I don't know, because like when Ezra went to World Between Worlds, he physically went there, and it wasn't like his body was outside. So it gets confusing when you think about the fact that she was obviously somehow in World Between Worlds or something like that, and then she woke up in the water. I don't know. I mean, it's like it's Thanos woke up in the water after he grabbed the Soul Stone. You know, I can't dwell too much into those kind of details when it comes to Star Wars. Star Wars is already filled with so much logical inconsistencies throughout literally every movie ever that I don't know. The water thing just I would like to know more specifically, like was she teleported to World Between Worlds? Is there a portal there? Was she just floating there and in like a force bubble, or what exactly happened? But they're probably trying to keep it vague, as trying to explain something like World Between Worlds gets very confusing simply. We need more Anakin indeed. I mean, I wonder if we're gonna get any more. It's tricky to say, to be honest, but we never know. I mean, it wasn't really like the Soul Stone thing, Simon, but it just popped up in my head because it was kind of the same thing. You do something, but boy, we wake up, oh shit, I'm in the water. I don't know where I am, kind of. But she actually fell into the water, so that made more sense. See you later, David. Thank you very much for dropping by, as always. Appreciate it. Thank you, David. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. By the way, guys, do not miss out on G Fuel's awesome video game sale right now. Really appreciate their continued support on the channel, and they shipped off a pretty big shipment today to me. I'm very excited to try out a bunch of new flavors. But I wanted to let you guys know, in case you didn't know, they have plenty of video game related flavors. You know, Dead Space, Fallout, Tekken, Spyro the Dragon, Pac-Man, Diablo. As you can see, a shit ton of official video game flavors. And today and tomorrow, no, yesterday and today, I think. So it might end soon. You'll get, as you can see, they bumped it down to $30 each, and then another $6 off if you use my code, or I mean, you could use this code technically, but I prefer if you use code Sheev. So double discount. My code stacks with the already reduced price of all of these products in the video game sale. So yeah, if you want to support the channel and get some G Fuel, use code Sheev, use the link in the description. Does G Fuel have Spider-Man? Yes, they do actually have Spider-Man flavors, but it's Spider-Man the movie, not Spider-Man the game, so that's why it's not available in the sale. But yes, they do have Spider-Man flavors. I actually do have those right here. And you can, as always, get 20% off these too, even though they're not on sale right now. So they do have Dimension Dance, Future Sense, and actually I think one more flavor too. So yeah. Link is in the description. Don't forget to use code Sheev to get a big chunk of your order. Joelis, I agree. It was a fantastic episode. Oh yeah, Rex. We haven't talked about Rex yet. Yeah, Rex was, even though a short appearance, was a great appearance. I mean, we got to hear the Tamura Morrison voice, at least, even if we didn't see his face. How did Ahsoka's body get out in the middle of the ocean? Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. I mean, I don't know, there's so many. I think it just has something to do with however World Between Worlds works. Maybe she was teleported there, then she was teleported out, and honestly, if we just want to talk Earth science, there is a lot of places where you can get sucked out in the water. A lot of places where I don't know what it's called, but it's actually really dangerous. Where you might think, oh, I'm swimming next to the what's it called, edge, whatever, and I'm safe, and then you get sucked out by like the reverse way. I don't know what it's called, but I know that very well exists. Even though I don't think that's kind of the explanation they're going for here, since this is Star Wars. Weird stuff happens all the time in every single movie. So yeah, I don't know. That's why I haven't really thought too much about why she was out in the water, because I feel like there could be a million explanations for that, basically. What about Batman G Fuel? Do they have that? No, Bertie, I don't think they do. What the hell just happened? I think something just fell off my chair. Interesting. Oh, it was like this little adjustment thing that you can use to lower, and I don't know why it fell off. Weird. I put it back on. There we go. Strange. Must have bumped into it or something. Riptides, that might be the word? Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I like when Anakin did this fancy, pointless prequel lightsaber spins. Yeah, I did it behind his back, right? I like that they really... I think they probably spent a lot of time trying to, like, yeah, mimic how he fought, you know? I can just imagine the stunt choreographer spending a lot of time on that. What would you give Ahsoka episode 5 from a scale of 1 to 10? Probably have to give it a 10, because like I feel like I'm always like 8, 9 or whatever, or then I'll give a 5 to something really low, but I don't know. Since I didn't feel like I had any complaints. The last 2 episodes was the first time in a very long time where I was sitting at the end of the episode like, please don't end, please don't end. I want to see more. I want to see more. I mean, isn't that like... I mean, at the end of the day, people like to analyze and digest, but it all comes down to, did you enjoy it? And I sure as hell enjoyed the last 2 episodes of Ahsoka a lot. Without analyzing or looking at on social media, I sat there and I was like, wow, whoa, wow, that's awesome. And then I was like, please don't end, I want to see more. You know, that just shows that that's the kind of stuff you want from Star Wars. So yeah. Definitely Imperial's aim. If you're shaking, you know it's a good episode. Yeah, no, right. I feel like both of the last 2 episodes, I didn't really think they were gonna end. Or basically, I thought only like 10-15 minutes had gone by, because you know they were great. But like they say, time flies when you're having fun. And I realized that when they were flying off with the Purgil, I was like, okay, I bet this is the end of the episode. But I still hope that maybe we can... 5 more minutes, please? Can we see Thrawn quickly? But obviously not. So, yeah. Far, far away in our galaxy. Yeah, could be. But I mean, yeah, sort of. Do you think we'll get to see Ezra by the end of the series? I mean, Thrawn, obviously. Ezra... I feel like if they went through all the trouble of casting Ezra, is the only thing they're gonna use him for one little hologram scene. I don't know. I'm like 50-50 if we'll see him or not this season. I just hope we get enough Thrawn. I think that's more important since they've built him up so much. Yeah, I don't know if they've said that there's going to be a season 2 of Ahsoka. And obviously, a lot of that stuff could happen in Mando season 4. It's hard to say because, I mean, they obviously already have a plan laid out of what's going to happen in all these Mandoverse series and how that's going to build into the Dave Filoni movie, which is hopefully going to be like a Infinity War like thing, maybe facing off Thrawn. That's why I think they're probably saving at least Thrawn's defeat to that movie, even though he might have minor setbacks or similarly, just how the Empire did in episode 4 and 5, if that makes sense. So, or Baylan could die, Shin could die, Morgan Elsbeth could die. There's a lot of other antagonists they could be that could die or lose to give the season some meaning. But I think actually defeating Thrawn as the big bad guy is probably not going to be until the movie. No, definitely not, Dan. I don't know. Do people actually dislike the show based on how long it takes to see Thrawn? Because I feel like we've seen a lot of other stuff, so I don't know. Do you think the next episode is just gonna be Sabine and Thrawn? No, because I feel like the next episode is probably gonna start off with everyone. At least I hope it's gonna start off on the Eye of Sion, and that they're gonna show when that they actually arrive in the galaxy, and when they meet Thrawn, he might explain what's happening and whatnot and such, and then Ahsoka appears later, or Ezra or something. But I'd love to see that meeting. They could just skip that over, and then Ahsoka will arrive there, and we don't know what's happened with Sabine. We don't know what's happened with Thrawn. But I would love to see the first meeting between Morgan Elsbeth and Thrawn and that kind of stuff. For me, the last 2 episodes matched the peak of Mando. I'm willing to agree with you, definitely. I think this has been the biggest peak since. I mean, Andor had a different peak, but like the One Way Out episode of Andor is like that's still one of my highest rated Star Wars content. But yeah, this is up there with like the Mando season 2 finale and stuff like that. Yeah, Simon, you should definitely give it a go because it's great. Yeah, that's Sean. I agree. The music has been great. Usually, I'm not one to like think too much about music unless it really stands out. But Ahsoka has had some fantastic music. Like I showed earlier, that just that music when Anakin is like switching between Vader and Anakin and attacks Ahsoka at almost at the end of their fight. That was great. I really like that music. I did have dinner, yes. Given the last few shows, there might be an episode without all the main characters of the show. Oh, you mean like how they had the Mando and Grogu in one episode of Book of Boba Fett? Not unlikely, not unlikely. Yeah, I'm very interested in Jason too. At first I thought Jason was just gonna be a side character, but now we actually played a role in the finding Ahsoka. And I don't know, he's kind of a likable character if I'm gonna be honest, because I usually think kids in movies or series, like I said, they're usually just annoying. But Jason's actually decent, and I think that he could be in for a bright future. Yes, Omega is one example. I really did not like Omega at all. I thought she was annoying as hell. I think she was a bit better in the last season though, but prior to that, I really did not like Omega. And like, yeah, so the Baby Yoda, but Baby Yoda is technically old, so that doesn't count. There could be an episode with Thrawn and have it set after Rebels show. I mean, yeah, that I wouldn't be opposed to a bit of a flashback scene. Maybe the next episode shows what happened when Thrawn and Ezra arrived in the galaxy, and then it jumps forward to when Morgan Elspeth and everyone arrives. That wouldn't be, yeah. What about Little Leia? Little Leia was she was a good actor. I mean, she was a bit annoying, but that's because she portrayed how Leia actually was when I don't know. I obviously some of the stuff when running through the forest and that was just embarrassing, but she did a very good job of portraying how I would think a young Leia would be, if that makes sense. I think we're getting another Bad Batch season, right? Let me check. Wait, I don't even remember. Was it Bad Batch season 3 or Bad Batch season 2? No, that was Bad Batch season 2 was the last one. So when... Yeah, it's gonna be released sometime in 2024, and it's gonna be the final season of the series. Who is excited for Skeleton Crew or Acolyte? I mean, I'm excited, but also like I'm excited in a way that it's something new. I'm curious, might be the right word. Obviously, I'm excited for most Star Wars stuff, but we know so little about them. I have no idea if that's gonna be. I mean, Andor was a series that I had extremely low expectations on. I thought, oh my god, this sounds like a boring series, and then it was the best, pretty much one of the best series ever. So the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew could very well be the same. Low expectations and it's amazing, or high expectations and it's bad. So I don't know. I'm like equally interested, excited for both of those two series because I don't know what to expect, to be honest. Acolyte seems interesting because at least it's a new era, some dark side stuff, maybe some Sith stuff. That I'm excited to see. But Skeleton Crew we know pretty much less of. I'm still mourning Tech. So are we all, Obi. That was yeah, it was sad. Unless he's alive, but I don't think so. I mean, I don't really believe in the whole considering stuff non-canon. I mean, everything's canon, but you're right that it doesn't change the outcome of the galaxy, which was kind of the point really of Kenobi, since we already knew we know what happened with Kenobi before, we knew what happened to Kenobi after. They just filled that gap with some content. And that's kind of the entire problem with everything now, like Mandoverse. I mean, obviously, Mandoverse is sure. We know that the First Order is gonna arrive. We know that Luke's gonna die. Blah blah. But that can be said for same thing as when the prequels came out. We knew Anakin's gonna turn to Vader. So, but there's still a million other interesting characters and stuff. Same thing as we know that Thrawn's obviously not gonna win. But yeah. by 2025, do you think we will get Andor season 2? I mean, yes, because they said it was scheduled for September next year, and now it might be delayed due to the writer's strike, so I don't think we'll see it later than 2025. What strings in the Star Wars universe do you think are you most excited to being tied together? I mean, I know people like, oh, I hate Snoke, I hate Palpatine's return, I hate sequels. I hate the execution of them, but I don't hate the idea of them. I don't hate the characters. I don't. So I think it's really interesting when they tie the remnants of the Empire, Project Necromancer, actually giving us a backstory on Snoke, on Palpatine, on all that kind of stuff. I'm excited for that. You know I like Palpatine. You know I like dark side stuff and things like that. So yeah, I am excited for that, to see how that ties together. See you later, Kokeo. Thank you for dropping by. Nano, that I do not disagree with. I think they could definitely have done a better job with Kenobi, the execution of that. How long do you think the strike will last? Honestly, I don't really know, because I don't quite understand. Like, so they're all on a strike, and they're just waiting for like Disney and the big companies to cave in. Why don't they just do that? I mean, I saw some posts that calculated that the little 0.5% extra pay, like compared to Disney's profits, that the actors and writers wanted was way less than they're currently losing every month by basically having everything on hold. So I don't know why they're not just paying up, to be honest. Lord Skywalker, hello there. I am excited for Star Wars Outlaws. It's gonna be nice to have a new Star Wars game to talk about and play. I gotta be honest, like, I'm still really missing a Star Wars multiplayer game. I mean, you saw Jedi Survivor. I did some videos on it, I did some streams, but I just have a hard time really getting. I want those games where you can, like, I can talk about this blaster for 15 minutes. I could try out this loadout. I could show you little ins and outs of this map. I want something to dive into, to play a lot, something to grind, kind of. But stories are like, you jump in, you play them for once or maybe twice, and then you're done with them. I told you to call me my lord. Lord Skywalker. You're just gonna have to be called Lord Skywalker. I'm not gonna call you my lord. That sounds like I'm addressing Vader. We do want Battlefront indeed, Optical Spark, but I'll also take any other Star Wars multiplayer game. Should be a first or third person shooter. Man, I don't know. To be honest, I prefer first person, but I'm up for anything really. Well, even if it's like Overwatch, Destiny, that's all first person. So what about KOTOR? We still don't know. We thought it was cancelled, and then it was not cancelled, and then it was moved to another studio. Probably still happening, but no idea when. I like seeing inside out of maps. Yeah, it's fun. That's the thing with multiplayer. It feels like you can always. I mean, it's like single player games have more details as in little extra characters and these little Easter eggs, but multiplayer usually means you repeat something so many times that it gets more interesting to talk about it. In single player, you run past a point once. In multiplayer, you run past the same point 1,000 times. Favorite part of episode 5? Yeah, that might be the same one, actually, like you said. Either I would say that part with when the last part of their battle, when he switches between Vader and Anakin, and the music and the intensity was just fantastic. But I also really liked when Ahsoka was up on the ship as kind of Ahsoka the White and was talking to the Purgil. That was just so beautiful up in the clouds. The music, the setting, it looked fantastic, to be honest. Yeah, waiting a week. I might actually. We'll see. Every so far, I've gone up. I went up like 7 or 8 a.m. and watched the episodes, which is about 5 hours after it's released. But I'm almost tempted to either, yeah, well, basically stay up until 3 a.m. to watch it. But I know that might be a bit stupid. But you thought the Purgil scene was boring? I mean, it sure wasn't action like with Anakin, but I wouldn't call it boring. The strike is basically about how streaming works. Actors get paid in a bad way. Yeah, that's what I heard. That basically now that things like they get a less cut now that stuff is streaming compared to when it was like box office stuff. So, and they refuse to fix that. I am willing to fully agree with you, Imperial's aim, for sure. Hopefully the strike ends by Christmas time. I mean, it couldn't. I don't know what they're waiting for, like Disney. What are they just hoping this to go away? Just fix, have a discussion and come to an agreement. You know, pay up. You have a lot of money. Yeah, Nano. That's something I really like. That people have been like, oh, she's so stoic. She's like not very emotional. I mean, hell, considering what she's been through, that makes sense. You could see it even in Rebels, but now after the stuff with Anakin and how when she kind of becomes Ahsoka the White, you can all of a sudden see right away how she's more happy and stuff. So they had a plan all along. More money they had, less they want to let go. Yeah, I guess. It's so weird because obviously Disney doesn't seem to be doing very well as a company, but they still, I don't know. Exactly, Obegum. It was like a little bit jump back to Clone Wars stuff. Yes, Lord Skywalker. I think so too. Patrick, fair enough, fair enough. That might be the case. Renovar, hello there. I just want to see Thrawn, man. Next episode better have Thrawn. I'm happy that I have a fairly good like TV and speaker system here because all the stuff with the Purgil and the music and the music with like Anakin and lightsaber duel sound effects and everything was just spot on. Yeah, a lot of people seem to think that The Force Awakens is the best sequel trilogy movie. I honestly think it's the most boring sequel trilogy movie. It might, out of a purely movie perspective, be the best one, but I still think The Force Awakens is probably the one I've seen the least because I think it's the most boring Star Wars movie of all, probably 9, to be completely honest. But that's my opinion, and I know not a lot of people agree with me on that. I just thought it was a complete carbon copy of A New Hope, kind of, with less interesting characters. Rogue One was fantastic. I mean, let's get Rogue 2. No, but let's do. I mean, I feel like there's so many interesting parts of Star Wars they could explore that I would love to get. I mean, we went from getting almost annual or biannual movies to getting no movies at all. Did you watch Knights of Melvin? No, I don't recognize that. What are you talking about, Lord Skywalker? I'm kind of looking forward to the Rey movie because I hope it's going to be a bit of a redemption for her. I mean, even if the sequels weren't very good, as in a lot of people didn't like them, you can't say they're not successful. Like how many kids haven't gone around dressed up as Rey? So Rey is still a beloved character, even if in general the sequels are kind of thought to not be very good. So I'd love for her to get a bit of redemption, as in good writing, well planned out story. She gets to just act. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Lord Skywalker. Stop causing a stir. So do I, Bertie, so do I. But yeah, guys, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to wrap up the stream now as I've gotta go to bed. I gotta do some packing and then get to bed pretty soon and try to schedule up as many clips as I can. Should be a few more, at least 1, maybe 2 more tonight, and then 2 or 3 tomorrow or something like that. We'll see. But yeah, I appreciate you all tuning in. It's always fun to kind of share your thoughts after especially an episode like this, where all you want to do is, talk with people about it, So yeah, I will see you all, except for the clips, of course, next week for the next episode, and we'll see if I might squeeze in a gaming stream if I feel like it. It's been a while. I kind of want to just hop on some Battlefront 2 or really any game. We'll see. But thank you all for tuning in as always, and may the Force be with you.
Ever hear the tragedy of Darth Vader's life?
No, I thought not. I thought not.
Ever hear the tragedy of Master Windu?
No, I thought not. I thought not.
Do it. Do it. Do it.